What's going on, everybody? This is Baldur's Gate, the after show, episode 53.
We're not worthy.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
I don't know why I even show up to this. I mean, what?
No fucking shit.
Holy
Why do
crap.
they even show up? Just let Mud fight them all. Single handed.
Wolf Jenny.
There's so many words and things and emotions to think about, but like, yeah, that happened.
There's a lot of shit.
Both of those things, all of that happened. Everything happened tonight.
Yeah, I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know what to. We had to. Yeah, I don't
Let's
even
just-
know what to say about it.
Hey.
Where to start with that?
We just start with the elephant in the room. So everybody knows 2 weeks ago, Mud sends me a text message and says, hey, I'm really going to let this loose and we're going to let the dice find out this story. And I'm going to play it out. And he goes, just let me roll. And I go for it. See how it goes. He wants to really test his characters and how they would operate. And from the get-go, we know Crimson Days is coming. We know the ambush is coming. We get the setup. We're without Gitzi, primarily from story-wise, but also out with a personal day. So we made the commitment that Gitzi was out and away from the group. And we were able to pull Asher in because he was leering closer to the gate. Josiah hits the DC 24 perception check, pulls him in. So after this teleportation comes in, we find out the true struggle, at least the audience proper. Aelun wants all the power and wants bloodshed, and Rook is the voice of morality and control. And you begin to make the rolls, Mud.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, honestly, I did. I did message you, and I was like, I think what I said was that I wanted to explore ideas of morality and like sacrifice and power, those kind of themes with Aelun. And I kind of was feeling like as we were getting closer to this, we hadn't had a full moon event in a while, and I was feeling kind of like, Aelun's been really obsessed with power, and Rook has been kind of becoming more humanized. So I kind of thought it'd be interesting to like, what if the moon affects Aelun but not Rook? Kind of like amps up his need to like be powerful and to kill a god, because that's what he wanted to do. So that's fucking what happened. I rolled that perfect 19 on the freaking hero point to give Aelun control to even go try to kill an innocent person. I was basically just ruling it like Aelun's going to try to knock people out. And then once the moon was up, that's when I decided, like, I flipped a coin actually for it to go whether or not he was going to go full bore. And yep, I was like, okay, that's a kill shot. And then I just kept rolling back and forth with like con saves basically anytime there was an opportunity to see like if Aelun would step in. Even at the end when I was going to do the divine intervention, I rolled a con save to see if Aelun was going to be able to kind of pipe up enough inside of Rook to be able to make that plea. And all the dice just kind of fell into place. It definitely was the conflict I wanted, like the internal conflict. I think kind of hoping it would go that way because I thought it was a more interesting story. But I wasn't for sure it was going to go that way, obviously, because dice are involved. And then I had no fucking idea that I was going to have to fight myself and then crit myself. That was a dope call to split us like that. That was a cool call. I was like,
That was awesome.
That's better than whatever would have happened in my brain.
Here's how it would have gone down. You made a divine intervention call with Aelun, trying to reach out to Valar to give you the strength. If that goes down, roll is reversed. And while Aelun, as far as a human form, would no longer exist, as you would go permanent werewolf, you would have killed Rook. The divine intervention would have killed Rook. The failure made it split. And that's where Rook got a chance to fight you in a weird role reversal. You did kill a god. Rook killed his own ego. and killed the part of himself and removed Aelun forever. And it was going to be, and that's why I was like, the consequences on this is the coin flip. And I knew this, you're like, you're building this moment. I'm like, this is perfect. Either way, this is going to be epic. And I don't know which way it's going to work out. And then to tie off the bat,
the initiative roll,
the Highlander
so
double
good,
swing.
dude. So good.
that was probably a highlight moment there. That was pretty good. The funny thing is, like, you know, Aelun is not, obviously he's not good in this situation, but he's not inherently evil. It's a more of a chaotic, you know, selfish thing.
Yeah, once this werewolf got out, he didn't care.
Yeah. So it's, you know, but so like the whole time that he's doing it, he's scheming about getting this werewolf god to give him his power, and then instantly trying to kill the werewolves and the werewolf god with it. Like, that's where his brain was at. Like, give me this power, I'll give you as much blood as you want. I didn't say
trying to
whose blood.
summon to get him there so he can tango.
Yeah, I didn't say whose blood it was.
Yeah.
He was trying to meta game the whole thing. You know, he's trying to, like, you know,
Play the con.
yeah. And it did not work out.
I think the greatest part of that story was that line from Rook, where I was like, no more monsters.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
for Rook to call him out and say,
No more
I'm
monsters.
not the monster, you are. It just, like, I was like, that hit me. I was like, oh, that's so good. Like, you know, it's like, oh man, you just think werewolf is the monster inside, the beast that must be tamed, and this was a total reversal, which I thought was freaking awesome.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was wanting to explore, like, about that, and I kind of touched on it before, way back with, like, Asher, and, like, saying that you had a monster inside. You know, at that time, you know, could be foreshadowing. I don't know if I meant it that way, but looking back, it's, you know, it's Aelun is the monster more so than Rook. Rook is a monster but that's, like, you know, just basal needs, and now that he's kind of come out, he's, you know, has more of a choice in that. So it's interesting to but in case I went the other way, dude, in case I got called out, I had plenty of material already worked up to be like, you know, you killed your family, you're a fucking liar, you took over a man's life, you know.
Oh,
God.
In case there was any moral judgments.
meanwhile, Radio, Adam, and I are like popcorn because we've been waiting for this showdown for months.
Whoa.
We're like, this is gonna be, we're like, oh, wonder how he's gonna play it. Well, of course, when he fucking plays, of course he vorpals himself, he vorpals the fucking boss, and he vorpals fucking Troy's brother, Donnie.
Just like, it's just like this was what a culmination to this story that's been building. Like, it couldn't have been perfect, like more perfect. Like, holy crap.
Honestly, it's crazy. And I don't know if it's just like our games or whatever, but, like, I feel like that happens with anybody's arc, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Like, if we have like a Hister arc, or like in the past, like a Ruby arc or whatever, like or the Asher arc with your dying and coming back, like, you know, I feel like shit just aligns for whatever arc you're trying to tell, you know, which is kind of weird. It just seems to happen that way for us.
I think
You've gotten
it builds with
lucky
the
in
RP, right? In the story, like,
Yeah.
I think it, like, that's a lot of it is like how things progress, right? And then it's like, you've been building this thing, and like, one, you're inherently ridiculously lucky. I don't understand it. But you know, it was
bro.
it was him throwing out this person that you have a strong relationship history with his mother, and then you have, you know, this internal dialogue and struggle, and then you've got this, like, entity that's trying to bring down this thing. And it's just like, it was, yeah, I mean, it's crazy that these things happen when these big moments happen. And I think that's us also trying to, you know, for us, like, as the, like, with Josiah and RoBear, we're just like, hey, this is your thing, this is your moment. We're trying to, I think we really try to force that and push that, because, like, this is the big moment for you. It's not like, you know, we'll have another time to get to me, we'll have another time to get to Josiah, etc. But, like, this was fucking awesome.
I'm sitting there seeing you toss the dice, throwing the coin. I'm like, oh god, this is so good. It's fucking phenomenal. Then I'm like, oh shit, I can actually do stuff over here.
And the thing is, the hard part. Let me tell you the downside of critting with the Vorpal over and over again. It's that you have to keep making up more and more elaborate ways to decapitate. It's a curse. It really is a curse.
Oh God, it must be so difficult.
First one's a straight up decapitation. Second one, I stab myself in the throat. Kind of rip out the side. It's a little more gory. Third one, I'm just going through the intestines.
What's impressive is they weren't all cheesed either. They were 50-50. There was 2 19s and 2 20s.
Yeah.
So it was,
sure.
It wasn't all cheesed with just the increased crit. Like,
you know what I'm wondering now, and I don't know. And I kind of thought about it in the middle, and this is kind of a mechanics talk, but I'm thinking, in terms of the build, Blood Hunter is like the Rook part of this character. Is Rook still a monk? Or is it something else?
I mean, that's a big question in general.
Is there a rebuild coming? I don't know.
I'd do a rebuild. I'd do 100% do a rebuild. If I were you, I would do a rebuild.
Yeah.
Because I'm
but then also you're a werewolf.
That's the Blood Hunter part.
Right. But like, what is that? How does that impact you being in Baldur? You know what I mean? There's so many questions, and we don't even know yet. And
I don't know how it's gonna, it's all speculation at this point, but Aelun dies, the personality dies, but the body is still Aelun's body.
Yeah, so he's going to look like Aelun, but Aelun's gone.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. That's the way I was. My brain was like,
Rook has complete control of the two.
Yep, you talked about that being the mental kind of.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to
wondering about that.
Do the physical, because if you pull him out and you do the physical, then you eliminate that, and this is where he murders him on the inside.
So now I gotta. Oh, go ahead.
What's cool is, I'm gonna let this get out, but it'll be via Asher how it gets out. You won't know. It'll be from you in the Dream Realm are going to be able to find that piece out and to be able to let it, because it's going to be it's going to be a very odd situation for us to go through that, but you're going to be able to give us that projection, and we're going to be able to see that, and you'll be able to project that to the rest of the group so we can see what happened,
which I think will be important. I have to ask this just because I'm curious. I think I know the answer, but I just feel like I'm obligated. Did you have a preference on who you wanted to, were you like, I kind of hope it swings this way, but I'm just curious.
Honestly, I don't really know that I had a preference. My whole entire goal was literally just to use that kind of dichotomy to explore those themes that I was interested in. Whether that made Aelun a bad guy or made Rook a bad guy or vice versa, depending on how the roles went or whatever, I really just wanted to explore two polar opposite kind of sides of that coin in whatever form that took. In terms of when he said, "Oh, you're splitting," I don't know, man. Both, because I thought it would be really dope if Rook killed Aelun and then was moving forward, he's his own person, he's free, because he already had ripped out the. Fun fact: Aelun put in the silver earrings and septum piercing to keep control of Rook.
I thought that was really cool. I'd never thought about it until you brought it up, and I was like, "Oh, this is so fucking metal!"
That was freaking awesome.
That was a day one decision. I even described in the early campaign he was wearing silver
I remember
rings.
you saying it, and I was like, "That's so weird." But I think you talked a little bit about it, but it's so much darker now.
And has silver rings and so you could argue that Aelun was keeping Rook hostage the whole time.
Yeah,
with the silver. But then, so on one hand, I'm like, that would be super dope for Rook to kind of break free and then get to explore what that means for him going forward. And at the same, but and then Aelun dying kind of in an unceremonious way after he kind of shit talked Rook would be kind of cool too. Instead, he always loses fights. But then on the other side, I also wanted Aelun to win and kind of come out with this. Hey, he's power hungry. He did what it took to get the power, no matter what sacrifice that was. And then he's going to take a swing at a god. Either way, that's a cool story. You know, the implications of that one or that side are a little darker, obviously. Little bit of you know, grayish black area, you know.
Either way, you were down to tell the story, and I thought that was cool from the get-go.
Absolutely.
You were able to tell that story mainly because of a fucking clutch play at the very beginning with Asher putting the haste on Josiah to pick up that extra damage and to really mitigate what was going around us.
The radio was doing crazy damage.
Yeah.
Thanks for the haste. Appreciate it.
It did a lot.
Doesn't match the
I don't
damage
do
you
much,
did
but when I
one
do,
swing.
it's things I don't have to roll for.
Dude, those pistols were popping off and shit. Agri, you were like,
Yeah.
pop, pop, pop.
Well, it's either you. It's usually one of you two that I'm like, okay, we're gonna haste, but then I'm like, okay, well, I have this thing. Let's play with it a little bit. Let's slow and see if we can reduce some of their action economy for a bit at least, and you know.
I did not think this boss was gonna go down quick. I had
Dude.
this mage sword, which is dope.
Yeah, fuck that sword.
I was down. Oh, by the way, I mean, 2 hits took me down to 20 HP, and then I cut myself to give myself the extra damage, and so I was down to like 15 HP there at the end.
Yeah, you were.
Like one more hit, I'm done. That's it. And that was nuts. So like the timing on that was crazy too, and I gotta say, going back to the you know, which one did I want to win? I am a little bummed that Aelun is dead because I really like Aelun and I enjoy playing Aelun because he's funny. So that kind of makes me a little sad that that whole personality is gone. Not completely gone because Rook mirrors a lot of those same traits, but kind of gone. So I'm like, yeah, I think Aelun personality wise is one of my favorite, if not favorite character. So.
Yeah, I knew when I put the shield on you, it was like I was like, I'm trying to give you the best I can, and then first attack he rolls
It gives
a crit,
you the
I'm like, oh, there
dopest
goes
shield,
that.
and it
I'm
just
like,
gets critted and then
Dude,
critted
that was-
again.
Fizban's platinum shield. I'm reading this shit. I'm like, this is
It's
dope.
awesome.
but it's a
bonus 6th level
action.
spell. It's a 6th level spell though, so it's like I'm juicing it, and I'm like just hoping that I can buy you a round or two, right? Because you're up in the kitchen. So I was like, I'm hoping to, you know. And then just as a quick note, I think it'll be interesting because I think Rook's gonna be funny in a different way.
Oh
just
yeah,
with the understanding, like
He
it's
doesn't know
like
how to be people.
yeah, it's gonna be. Oh my god, it's gonna
Be
amazing.
enjoyable.
Yeah,
He's gonna be like a fucking toddler.
yeah.
So originally, I had a Vorpal in the hands of Nalak, and I was going to have you go Vorpal versus Vorpal, and I was like, no, I don't want to do Vorpal versus Vorpal on this particular battle, but I'm going to make it a very deadly sword for you, which involved having force damage and it having aerial of denying effects within it. And I'm like, this is what I think is right. And I was repaid by the chef's kiss of 2 crits versus your 2 crits back and forth, which made it perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He critted twice.
He critted twice and you critted twice. That was the interaction of ultimate boss battle.
Going at it. Yeah, it was freaking sick. It was awesome.
The coolest fucking scene of these buildings on fire, Crimson Days, the ashes and the lanterns, and just fighting in the circle that we were kind of in the round, like back to back. And Haley Ares showing up and tanking for us.
Haley Ares showing up was also really cool, especially after she was in Meteorian Core and kind of like made her way out of the forest, I guess, and showed up here. I don't know what the timeline is on that, but
I just also love the concept of the god too, being like, especially probably after that, being like, good, the wolf ripped out the weakness, which is the human. Like that whole, like, you know what I mean? Like that's that, like, careful what you wish for, because it, like, I thought that was really cool too, that you're bartering for this power, and it's like, you know,
and you guys don't know what the last roll was for yet. You know that the blood moon hasn't completely risen, but you don't know what that other divine intervention roll was there. And I'll leave it at that to make everybody think, that's going to be our cliffhanger.
That's going to be so much. It's there's still so, you could talk about so many little parts about this episode, honestly, because even the parts of, like, I really enjoyed as a player getting to murder hobo those NPCs a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Just holding that guy into the fucking bushes and breaking his jaw. Like,
little chunker.
I mean, I saved his life, but you know, you know,
it helps set the stakes and let chat know that you're not fucking around. That's what I loved.
Yeah.
It let the community and the viewers and us know, like, hey, ain't no shit. Like, he's gonna let her eat.
Yeah. And
See where it goes.
I was just waiting for that full moon because I'm like, you know, Aelun's kind of just playing the game right now. Like, oh, okay, I'll get him bloody, but I just thought, you know, he already kind of transformed at will. I'm like, the full moon is going to be a transformation of personality versus like a physical one. Like, after the moon's up, he's going to start murdering people.
So good. I love it. We got to go. Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow for Meteorian Core and the debut of Nether Deep. Love you guys. Get your rest. We'll see you soon.